The man who wrestled with God. The untold struggles of Jacob in the night. The sky was painted in deep shadows. The last glow of the sun had vanished behind the hills, leaving the camp by the river Jabbok in complete darkness. The wind carried the whisper of leaves and the soft bubbling of water, but to Jacob every sound was a threat. Every rustling leaf was Esau's sword coming to cut down everything he had built. He stood alone. His wives, children, and servants were safely on the other side of the stream. He had sent them away, not just to protect them, but because something in his soul told him this night would be different. This night would be holy or deadly. Jacob's eyes scanned the shadows. Nothing moved, but his heart raced. The weight of the past. Jacob dropped to his knees near the riverbank. The cold, wet earth clung to his robe, but he didn't care. His mind was heavier than the mud beneath him. God of my fathers, he whispered, trembling. God of Abraham and Isaac. You told me to return to my land. You promised to be with me. But Esau is coming. I have sent gifts, herds, and messages, but he comes with 400 men. He clenched his fists. 400! He remembered the look in Esau's eyes the last time he saw him. Fiery, betrayed, and full of rage. He had stolen the birthright. He had stolen the blessing. He had run like a coward. Now he was going back to the brother he had wronged. I am not worthy, Jacob whispered, eyes shut tight. I am not worthy of the least of your mercies, but I am afraid. Please deliver me from the hand of Esau. I cannot face him alone. Silence answered him. The kind of silence that feels thick, like a wall between you and heaven. Jacob sat back and breathed hard. His chest ached. He looked to the sky and remembered the dream he had as a young man. The ladder to heaven, angels going up and down. Back then, he was full of fear too, and also wondered. Now there was only fear. He stood up slowly. A movement, a flicker. Someone was there. The stranger in the shadows. He saw the man out of the corner of his eye. At first, he thought it was a servant who hadn't crossed the stream. But when he turned to look, the figure stood still, silent and tall, arms by his side, face shadowed. Who are you? Jacob called, stepping forward. No answer. His heart pounded. He felt the urge to run, but something deeper, a challenge, a force, held him in place. Are you from Esau? He asked. Speak. Still no reply. The stranger took a step closer. Jacob's breath caught in his throat. Then, like lightning cracking through the sky, the man lunged. Jacob barely had time to raise his arms before they crashed together. They rolled on the muddy ground, fists grabbing, feet kicking, grunting like wild animals in the dark. Jacob screamed and twisted. What are you doing? Who are you? But the man did not speak. Their bodies crashed against the rocks, splashed into the river's edge. The force of the stranger was terrifying, stronger than anything Jacob had ever felt. But he fought. He dug deep into the strength of every shepherd's day, every hard year, every wound he had endured. Still, the man pushed back harder. It wasn't just a fight of bodies. Jacob could feel it in his bones. This was something more, something divine. A battle of hearts. The hours passed like centuries. Jacob's muscles screamed. His back ached. Blood trickled down his face where a rock had cut him. But still, he held on. The stranger moved like a ghost, sometimes solid, sometimes like mist. His hands were fire. His breath was ice. Jacob was panting now. Why are you doing this? No answer. And then, a voice, soft but thunderous, quiet yet shaking the soul. Let me go, for the day is breaking. Jacob froze. He knew that voice. It wasn't human. The man was no man. He was standing face to face with the divine. Jacob's eyes widened. His lips trembled. But instead of fear, something else rose in him. Desperation, hope, hunger. No, he gasped, tightening his grip. I will not let you go unless you bless me. The stranger paused. The air seemed to freeze. The whole earth went silent. And then came the question that tore through Jacob's heart like a knife. What is your name? Jacob hesitated. This wasn't a casual question. This was a question of identity, a question he had run from his whole life. "My name is Jacob," he said finally, barely above a whisper. He expected judgment, fire, anger, but the stranger said, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men, and you have prevailed." The wound and the light, Jacob didn't understand it. He had fought, he had cried, he had been broken. How could that be victory? Before he could speak, the stranger reached out and touched his hip. A scream escaped Jacob's throat. The pain shot through him like lightning. His leg buckled. He fell to the ground. He tried to rise, but he couldn't. The stranger began to walk away. Jacob reached out. "Please, tell me your name." The man turned, but instead of answering, he said, "Why do you ask my name?" Then he smiled, a smile that held eternity, and disappeared with the dawn. The sun broke over the horizon. Light spilled across the earth. The birds began to sing. Jacob lay on the ground, trembling, broken, limping, but blessed. He rose slowly, leaning on his staff, tears falling freely. "I have seen God face to face," he whispered, "and yet my life is preserved." A limp that changes everything. Jacob carves or stacks stones at the spot where he wrestled, naming it Peniel. His silhouette stands against the morning sun as he lifts a hand in gratitude. The river flows peacefully now. The land feels sacred. Text in the corner, "For I have seen God face to face." As the day wore on, Jacob saw Esau approaching, 400 men behind him. Jacob's heart pounded, but something was different now. He didn't run. He didn't hide. He stepped forward. He bowed 7 times to the ground, showing humility he never had before. And then Esau ran to him, not with a sword, with open arms. They embraced. They wept. The past melted away in tears. Jacob, now Israel, never forgot that night. Every step he took reminded him of it. The limp was there forever, but so was the blessing. He had struggled. He had cried. He had feared and failed, but he had also grown. He had faced God, faced himself, and faced his brother. And in doing so, he had become more than a man. He had become the father of a nation,